Hi guys, in this video today we're going to be talking about your health, milk and dairy. We're going to be asking some tough questions like, should we be worried about the hormones present in dairy? Does dairy really prevent osteoporosis? And what's the deal with calcium? If we don't get it from milk, where do we get it from? Our society consumes enormous amounts of dairy, including milk, yogurt, cheeses and ice cream. Did you know that we're the only species to routinely drink another species' milk? And to drink it after the age of weaning into adulthood. I'm sure you all remember growing up being told to drink your milk, that it was good for strong teeth and bones. Much of what we've heard about dairy is so ingrained into us that it's hard to separate fact from fiction. But first of all, what is milk and what is its purpose? Milk is naturally produced by mothers to feed their babies. Humans' mother's milk is the best food for human infants. It has the perfect balance of all the macronutrients a baby needs. Carbohydrates, low in protein, high in fat. And cows, like us, only produce milk to feed their babies. They have to have been pregnant and given birth to a calf. Cow's milk is meant for a baby calf. It's designed to grow a calf into a cow from 27 to 180 kilos in just a year. But what is in milk? Dairy is high in overall fat content. Butter contains a whopping 80% fat. Cheeses are around 60 to 90% fat. And it's not the good fat that's like found in avocados and nuts. It's the bad, saturated fat. As well as loaded with calories, there's been evidence showing a direct link between high cholesterol and heart disease. Dairy is the #1 source of saturated fat in Western kids' diets. The carbohydrate in milk is lactose. Lactose is a milk sugar, and it's also the culprit of lactose intolerance. It's likely you are or you know someone who's lactose intolerant. That's because over 50% of the world's population is also lactose intolerant. But have you ever wondered why that is? Well, as babies, our bodies produce an enzyme called lactase. It allows us to break down and digest our mother's milk. However, after weaning, humans no longer need the ability to digest their mother's milk. So as such, our bodies produce less of the enzyme. This results in difficulty digesting the lactose, causing the discomfort and pain that we call lactose intolerant. Cow's milk contains 25 different proteins and contains almost 3 times the amount of protein as in human's milk. It's a rapid growth rate to grow a calf into a cow very quickly. Good for cows, but maybe not so good for humans. One of these proteins is called casein. Neil Barnard, MD, says that when the casein breaks down in your digestion, the protein releases casomorphins, which are released into the blood and attached to the dopamine receptors in the brain. He says it is what bonds the calf to the mother. It's maybe why cheese feels so addictive. Casein has also been linked to many diseases and allergies. All foods of animal origin contain traces of hormones, but most of our dietary exposure comes from dairy products. Milk and dairy are a source of steroid hormones and growth-like factors, including estrogens, progesterones and insulin-like growth factors that may have physiological effects in humans and stimulate the growth of hormone-sensitive tumours. Modern industrial methods keep dairy cows in active milk production, meaning they can lactate throughout their pregnancy, meaning they're quite often pregnant whilst they're still producing milk. And like humans during pregnancy, cows produce higher levels of these hormones, such as estrogen. Estrogen levels are highest in fatty dairy products, such as whole milk, cheese and ice cream. In studies, a relationship has been found between milk and dairy products and human illnesses such as teenagers' acne and hormone-related cancers. Papers from the Harvard School of Public Health establish an association between milk consumption and acne. They state that by consuming milk from pregnant cows, we're exposed to hormones we are not designed to consume during teenage or adult years. In a meta-analysis of case control studies and a meta-analysis of cohort studies, both concluded that milk consumption is a risk factor for prostate cancer. All animal protein have high biological value. That means they're efficient at growing cells. That includes all cells, healthy cells and cancerous cells alike. You may have heard of a growth hormone that's present in humans and cows. It's called insulin-like growth factor, or IGF-1. IGF-1 plays an important role in humans for normal growth and development. However, excess IGF-1 has been linked to tumour growth and certain cancers. Milk is high in calcium. That is true. But due to the marketing of milk, we're led to believe that calcium is the only thing we need for strong bones. But there's other things we need, like phosphorus, vitamin D and vitamin K. Calcium is also important for blood flow, muscle function and many more. Osteoporosis was thought to be prevented by drinking milk. The Nurses' Health Study did a 12-year study on over 77,000 women, setting out to prove whether drinking 2 or more glasses of milk instead of 1 glass helps to reduce bone fractures. They found the opposite was true. Those who drank more milk were 50% more likely to get bone fractures. Harvard researchers found that milk consumption in teenage years was not associated with a lower risk of hip fractures in adults. But if our bodies need calcium and we don't get it from dairy, then where else can we get it from? Well, there is loads of plant-based food that you can get calcium from. Green leafy vegetables such as broccoli, bok choy and kale are great sources. Also, beans and seeds such as kidney beans, chia seeds and sesame seeds are high in calcium. There are so many great alternatives these days to replace dairy. If you want to try cutting out some dairy, then try doing it gradually. Swap your milk for a plant-based milk. There's so many in the supermarket. You have soy milk, almond, oat milk, coconut milk. For a healthy option, soy milk is good. It contains as much protein as whole milk, but with lower calories and low saturated fat, unlike cow's milk. If you feel like you're not eating enough calcium-enriched foods, you can always get soy milk or other plant-based milk fortified with calcium. You can also get milks fortified with other vitamins like vitamin D, vitamin B12. Just make sure you check the ingredients because lots of these milks have added sugars which we don't need. There are also many vegan alternatives to butters, cheese and yogurts. Me personally, I like to use smashed avocado to replace butter or margarine. And for sweet dishes, I will use smashed banana or peanut butter. There are also loads of nut butters available, cashew, almond, there's so many to try now. You can also make creamy sauces from plant-based milks, plant-based creams, tofu, and even beans. There are many benefits to cutting out dairy from your diet. Many people who've given up dairy see their acne clear up, improvements in autoimmune disease. People suffering from psoriasis and eczema see a significant improvement. Also, if you want to lose weight and lower your cholesterol, cutting out dairy means cutting out saturated fat. You'll also be lowering your carbon footprint and helping the animals. The most famous paediatrician of the 20th century was the late Dr. Benjamin Spock. Generations of parents have relied on his best-selling book, Baby and Childcare, as the most accurate and informative guide to childcare. In his 8th edition, he said and revised it with the following: children can get plenty of protein and iron from vegetables, beans and other plant foods that avoid the fat and cholesterol that are in animal products. As for dairy foods, Dr. Spock says, I can no longer recommend dairy products after the age of 2 years. Other calcium sources offer many advantages that dairy products do not have. Dr. Michael Greger states that it's true, the #1 source of calcium in the American diet is from dairy products. However, the #1 source of artery-clogging saturated fat is also from dairy products. If you do decide to cut out dairy from your diet, make sure you have a look at the foods you can replace it with so you're getting a healthy and balanced diet. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure you share it with your friends and loved ones. Please make sure you subscribe to my channel because there's going to be more of these videos coming and I want you to see them and get the most out of it. So thanks guys again, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.